Howdy y'all, it's you all here, and welcome back to another Minecraft video. And today I have something very cool to show you. This in front of me is a fully automatic, self-refilling potion brewing system. And what I mean by self-refilling, obviously fully automatic is fully automatic. What I mean by self-refilling, um, if you, here I'll show you. So if I take a certain number of potions out, let's just say 3. If I take 3 potions out, as you can probably see, this light turns on. Now this means that this machine has started already. So it completely starts on its own when it detects that it needs potions, based on whether there are potions in this hopper or not. So since there aren't any potions in that hopper, since I took some out, it will automatically start. And since that first slot is a fire protection, potion of fire resistance, that's what it's called, it'll automatically start brewing that potion from this brewing stand here and funnel it back into its slot. Now, when I posted this on Discord, you guys seemed pretty interested in this, so I'm going to go ahead and try and explain how this thing works. So, okay, so first of all, you've got your indication lights. The bottom one refers to which potion it is brewing. It can only brew one at a time. And the top one refers to if you can brew that potion. If you cannot brew that potion, these lights will turn on by this whole orange system here. I'll show you that later. So the whole system starts from this hopper, as I said. Now, when items are funneling in, they'll come down this hopper line here. Hoppers will always try to push down before they push across. So this hopper, seeing that this hopper would be unlocked because of this whole system, basically once... this all gets confusing very fast. Basically once there's no items in here, this hopper will unlock because of this whole circuit here. So this hopper will push down to here because it'll be unlocked. This hopper will push down to this hopper, and depending on how many items you have taken out, this hopper may or may not need potions. So this hopper will bypass these two hoppers here and push it down into here. This is so that items don't pass through this hopper and make the item detect that there is items when there really isn't. So it passes down through here, and this acts kind of like a buffer as well. So then once this hopper is full, which obviously means that this chest is full as well, the items will continue to push down, come across now because it can't push down, and it'll come into this hopper, which will activate this comparator. Now, this comparator, when it's unpowered, which means that it needs potions, it will power this torch, which will then power this redstone line here, which sets off this whole circuit. Now this circuit, if I take these potions out again, hopefully you can see, this circuit will fire once that torch turns on because of that redstone line. It'll extend this piston, activating this burnout clock, which I've tested it, almost always fires 7 to 8 times. So that burnout clock will activate this dropper to fire out 6 snowballs, which are right here. Now those 6 snowballs activate the comparator, which by a signal strength of 2 will activate this whole circuit here. This purple circuit is what unlocks the hopper up there, and it also activates this piston due to this green wool here, which activates the clock system. Now, these clock system, it has enough items in there for half of the time it takes to brew and transport the items over here. So I happen to know that this one has 64 and 30, I believe. Yeah, so 64 and 30. So that is half the time it takes to, and as you can see, it's brewed those potions. it takes to brew the potion and send it over. So that means that once every other time this clock fires, it'll brew a potion. If hopefully that makes sense. Um, Basically that's it for this whole. This is basically the brain. I feel like I didn't really explain these hoppers well enough. These are to make it so that it'll only brew one potion at a time, since, brewing stands can only brew one potion at a time. Since this will let items along until the first locked hopper, which is what these redstone torches do. Once it reaches a locked hopper, the 6 items will build up into that hopper, leaving an output for these comparators. Now, the reason I need 6 items is because that has a signal strength of 2. If you were to use a signal strength of 1, then when this potion got finished, the item would continue to flow along the hoppers, giving out an output for every single one of these hoppers as it passes through. That means that it would try to brew every single potion, which it obviously cannot do. So it needs a signal strength of 2 to fire. And as I said, that just goes to unlock the hopper. These activate the clocks due to the comparator wanting to power through this block, activating these whole clock systems, which have to be staggered because of, redstone dust and such. It's a, what do they call it? A rising edge monostable circuit. Yeah, that's what it is. This rising edge circuit here, it will fire once when this comparator gets powered, which will fire that one tick, sending it through this block, inverting it, so allowing these torches to turn on. Now this, I don't know much about computers, but I believe it's called a matrix. It's basically like the information storage here. When it sends and when this depowers, it allows the redstone torches to turn on, firing these redstone lines, which fire these droppers up here. Obviously dispensing the items. This one happens to be nether wart. So that depowers and sends it through, dispensing all of the items. Now the reason I need a 1 tick pulse here is because this will be powered for all except that 1 tick, because it will be powered as long as there is an item in this hopper. And if you know anything about these hopper timers, you know that there is almost always an item in this hopper, but there isn't from the time that it's switching the redstone block, basically. So honestly, you can make it work if you just have the redstone torches powered for a long period of time, if that makes any sense. But then it has issues transferring in between potion types and such. Again, if that makes any sense at all. And this I'll get to later. So as I said, these redstone torches get unpowered, sending redstone pulses through these redstone lines up here. Now these redstone lines activate the droppers, which are strategically placed so that the items reach the brewing stand in the right order. Because obviously you have to have the nether wart first, and then the magma cream. Oh, excuse me. And then the magma cream, and etc., etc. So, yeah, so these torches are basically just the memory storage of the thing. Now, before I get to the brewing, actually, yeah, I'll go to the brewing part first. So the items get transferred along here into this hopper. The first item will usually be nether wart, depending on what potion you're brewing. The first item will go ahead and filter through to here. But then when the second item gets through, it'll stop in this hopper because it can't flow down because the first item's already in here. So that this comparator, well, actually the first item it'll have a comparator output. That's what this is for. So the second item will come in here, activating this. This is so that there is enough, because you don't want this thing to fire twice, because it would fire once when the first item flows through, and a second time when the second item flows through. Now, when that first item flows through, it's still going to get a reading. So, the game just froze for a second. So I have this short pulse extender here to make sure the pulse lasts until the second item gets through. So once the second item gets through, it'll have enough time to get around this long pulse extender, which unlocks this redstone torch, which unlocks this hopper, allowing water bottles to flow into the brewing stand. What it also does is depowers this torch, which won't do anything until it repowers, which means the pulse extender is done. This pulse extender will last just a tiny bit longer than 20 seconds, which, if you don't know, is how much time it takes to brew a potion per ingredient. So this will last 20 seconds from when there's no item in here. So that means when the last item goes into this brewing stand, this will last 20 seconds more, allowing it to brew. But then once this turns off, it will repower this torch, which fires another rising edge monostable circuit, which fires into here, yada yada yada. It gets kind of tight in here, which fires this pulse extender, allowing the 3 water bottles, or they're not water bottles anymore, they would be 3 potions out of here into all this system to get it down into this dropper, which then fires it off into the storage system. I feel like there was something else about this. Yeah, that's it. So it just unlocks it, allows the potions to flow through, and that's pretty much it. Now, that in itself, what I've explained there, is a working system. That is actually what if you're here from the Discord server, which you most likely are, at least for early views, if you're here from there, what you would have seen on Discord, what I showed, was just that, what I just explained. All of this stuff is just safety precautions. This is everything, like I said, over here on the top lamps. It shows what you cannot brew. And it does that by, like I said, this orange circuit. Now, as you probably remember, these droppers have the items in there. So let's just do an easy one. Let's say we run out of nether wart. Let me just take all the nether wart out. So I'm out of nether wart here. That means that this comparator will then power off, allowing this torch to come on. Then all of these pistons, strategically placed again, will extend. Now these pistons are on potion slots that need nether wart. So when these pistons extends, it breaks the redstone current. Because redstone current cannot run through a piston head, and the blocks have been pushed down, so the current can't run through it. Since it cannot run through, it runs into this piston, which retracts its redstone block, which... how do I explain this? It retracts this redstone block, which then allows this piston to retract, cutting off the signal from these clocks and the monostable circuit. This disables the entire machine. Not allowing that redstone pulse to come through here makes it... that's not supposed to be like that. Makes it so that it cannot dispense those items. So therefore, it won't brew anything. So now the system is disabled. But then, as you can see, all of this is activated as well. Since the redstone blocks are retracted, they get pulled up, obviously. So they get pulled up into this circuit here, which then, through this janky little tileable redstone thing, it makes the redstone signal travel up over this little circuit. It makes the redstone signal travel up and into these lamps. So now these lamps are on because these potions require nether wart. This one doesn't because it's a weakness potion. But since all of these potions require nether wart, they cannot be brewed now, so they are disabled. But when I add the items back in, yabba dabba doo, it starts again. So now there's no redstone pulse here, so that means the redstone lamps up there will turn off. Fish have been a massive issue in this circuit, by the way. And so now everything is able to be brewed. Obviously there's nothing being brewed because everything's full. So now that there's items in there, these pistons will retract again because they are no longer powered, allowing redstone to travel through these blocks here and into this piston, extending, allowing the redstone pulse from the monostable circuit to travel through. Hopefully that all made sense. Now this blue circuit is pretty similar, it just detects whether you have water bottles and blaze powder, which could use some work because it doesn't tell you how much it has, it just tells you that it has some. So yeah, that's a thing, and that just powers these redstone lamps here. Yabba dabba doo. And I think that's pretty much it. It looks like a really daunting mechanism. It's really not. It looks a lot more complicated than it really is. The only complicated part is probably the brewing part, and even that is just, you know, pulse extenders and such. But other than that, I'd really like to show you guys how to program this thing. So this thing is theoretically infinitely tileable. Now I say theoretically because I haven't tested it beyond this 20. Because of this redstone line down here, if I can find it. Oh, there it is. This redstone line here, since it only outputs power, since torches only output a power of 15, you have to put a repeater here to extend the signal, which is the same case on all of these green lines too, which probably wouldn't be an issue because most likely you're not going to need the same ingredients in every potion, so you could move the repeaters around if that makes sense. But you must have a repeater up there. So you have to have a 1 block gap, but other than that, it is theoretically infinitely tileable. Now, I guess I can show you guys how to code this thing too. Let's just do a fire resistance potion. That's pretty easy. So I like to put a bottle in here just to show what these potions are. Go ahead and put these just to get them out of my way. So a fire resistance potion requires nether wart, then magma cream, then redstone because I like my potions to last longer. So first of all, you need to come back here and activate it. Actually, let me take this out just so that nothing, actually, just put that in temporarily. I need to deactivate all of these. Oh, not all of them. I'll get to that later. Very confusing. Anyway. So firstly, I need to make this slot live by putting a redstone torch here. Now these aren't live because there aren't going to be items in here, therefore the torches would be powered, breaking the system because it would try to brew a potion that wasn't there, if that makes sense. Okay, so to program these clocks here, you take the number of ingredients it takes to brew the potion. So that is, for this one, it's 3. 1, nether wart, 2, magma cream, and number 3, redstone. So you take that number times 31. 3 times 31 equals 93. Now you take that number and you add it to the number of hoppers it has to go through at the top there, minus 1 hopper. I don't really know why, but it just is. minus, well, it's not really minus one hopper, it's just because you have to do it every other. Yeah, just forget that. You subtract one hopper from here. So now this thing has to travel through. Let me try that again. So to program these hopper yabba-dabba-doo. Okay. So to program these hopper timers here, you have to do a couple of mathematical stuff. First, you take the number of ingredients it takes to brew the potion. So this one is 3. Magma cream, or not magma, so you start with nether wart, magma cream, then redstone. So that's 3 ingredients. You take that 3 times 31. So that'd be 93. Now, then you add it to half the you add that to half the numbers of hoppers it has to travel through at the top here. Now this one has to travel through 17 hoppers. Starting here, there's 15 here, 16, 17. So half of that would be 8.5, but you round that up just to be safe, so 9. So 31 times 3, 93, plus 9, 102. So this needs 102 items. So 64, 96, so I need 6 more. So yeah, that's 102. So then you just put them into this hopper, and as you can see, it immediately starts. Which I don't, I guess it doesn't really matter. So then, I'm going to go ahead and deactivate the ingredients that it takes to brew this potion. So it takes nether wart, which I'm going to deactivate. It takes magma cream, deactivate. And it takes redstone, which is this one, deactivate. Then I come back over here, go to the slot that I'm programming, and I'll put redstone torches on the ingredients that I need. Now this one is nether wart. I believe the third one is magma cream. Let me check that. Yes, the third one is magma cream. So I put redstone torch on the third one, as well as the one that has redstone. I don't know which one that is, so I just go up here and check. Now my game is frozen. There we go. Go over to the redstone slot, follow it down. And put a redstone torch on there. So now the memory system is programmed. I can go ahead and start this because I happen to know that I have items in all of those. So I can go back and put repeaters to reactivate all of those ingredients. Starting with nether wart, magma cream, and redstone. So now, again, this theoretically works, but it needs the safety systems. So to do that, I have these sticky pistons. So you come over to the ingredients you need, first starting with nether wart again, and you put a sticky piston above, that's not ideal, facing down above the block above the ingredient, running into a block. So this will allow, and then you have to attach the redstone. So this will make it to where, that should be fine. Make sure that it's not exceeding 15. This should be fine. So now the nether wart is protected, so that when I run out of nether wart, this piston will extend and yada yada yada. I've already explained that. So then magma cream. Need to extend this orange line out and put another sticky piston above it. So now that one is protected. And finally, redstone. Again, same process, just a sticky piston above it, running into a block. And I'm just using orange wool here because I'm lazy and I don't want to go and grab white wool. So now this thing is entirely programmed, and it should already be starting to brew fire resistance potions. As you can see, the light has turned on, saying it's brewing them. None have actually come through yet, that's okay. But if we come over here and look, the nether wart is starting, and then you've got your magma cream and your redstone. So let's just wait till this actually brews, and I can show you how the rest of the stuff works. Okay, so as this is finishing brewing, we should be able to see this. Yes, as you can see, the pulse extender depowers, allowing everything else to fire, you may have been able to see it, that pulse extender there to fire, unlocking these hoppers, and then you probably heard the clicking, which was this dispenser, or dropper rather, dropping out the items into this water stream to go into the chests over here. Now, ooh, I'll have to check on that, I guess. So now, as you can see, there's potions in this chest. Now this will continue brewing until this chest is full, plus this hopper, plus the hopper behind it. So that is this video done explaining this system here. As you can see, these redstone lamps are on. I just updated. I thought that this was a bug. This redstone is going into the side of this comparator, which basically disables the comparator. I thought that had been removed. I thought that was a bug, but I just updated, so I'm assuming that that was a bug, which doesn't make sense to me, but I'll have to fix that. But anyway, other than that, the system works and everything. That's just a minor change I'll have to do. If you did enjoy, don't be afraid to leave feedback in the comments. I know I may have gone through this a little bit fast, so don't be afraid to let me know in the comments if you have any questions. As of now, I probably won't do a full tutorial, like explaining this thing block by block. I think just an image of it honestly is pretty good, since it's one wide tileable, or basically two wide tileable, because the clocks have to be alternated. But other than that, it's pretty simple. Yeah, there's really nothing else to explain. So I hope to see you guys in the next one.